How's it going, my dudes? This video's brought to you by Squarespace today.
Who doesn't love a good party? And the fact that, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm recording this on a Monday. So if there was ever a day of the week where I wanted a party, it's a Monday. Anyway, Star Trek is full of different holidays for us to celebrate. There's ones we've heard about in the real world and ones which exist just within Star Trek itself. So let's have a dig in and see, are you wasting your own Ancestors' Eve? I'm Sean Ferrick for TrekCulture, and here are 10 in-universe Star Trek holidays and when to celebrate them. Number 10, First Contact Day. Zefram Cochrane's first warp flight on the 5th of April 2063 is generally accepted as the most important event in human history. Passing Vulcans noticed his ship, the Phoenix, reaching Warp 1 and decided that humanity was finally ready to learn of alien life. Realizing they weren't alone in the universe inspired humanity to unite like never before and rebuild Earth's society from the ashes of World War III. April the 5th became First Contact Day. To honour this monumental moment, Voyager celebrated the holiday in the episode Homestead, complete with some of Cochrane's favourite snacks and music. 7 years later, First Contact Day of 2385 was unfortunately ruined by the synth attack on Mars. In real life, First Contact Day is observed as a special day to honour all things Star Trek, and similar to Star Trek Day, the anniversary of the original show. Announcements, cast and crew panels, and reveals for new Trek content often come out on the 5th of April to celebrate. First Contact Day is mostly observed by humans, but some aliens have been known to participate in the festivities. The Terrans of the Mirror Universe also celebrated the 5th of April as the date they stole the visiting Vulcan ship and began their interstellar conquests. Along with the annual holiday, First Contact was also honoured with a theme park called Historical Bozeman, constructed around the Phoenix's original launch site in Bozeman, Montana. We got to see the park in Lower Decks episode Grounded, when the ensigns used the replica Phoenix to ride to reach the Cerritos in space. Aside from the replica Phoenix, Historical Bozeman is also the site of the Zefram Cochrane statue Geordi mentioned in Star Trek First Contact, as well as a t-shirt shop called T-Trek, a fun zone in the shape of the Vulcan ship that first introduced themselves to Earth, a concession stand called Thirst Contact, and much more. It's likely that the park would have been a pretty popular location for First Contact Day celebrations. Number 9, Frontier Day. Humanity began exploring other solar systems shortly after Zefram Cochrane's first warp flight in 2063, but with the launch of the Captain Archer's Enterprise in April 2151, humanity began venturing beyond their local neighbouring stars. The Enterprise's Warp 5 engine drastically cut down travel times and allowed humans to make contact with countless new alien societies. Because of its historical importance, the anniversary of the Enterprise's maiden voyage is celebrated every year with a massive parade through space. It was never stated on screen what specific day in April the NX-01 was launched, but Terry Matalas said in a tweet that the holiday was celebrated on the 13th. In 2401, a Borg Changeling alliance infiltrated Starfleet and gathered the entire fleet to Earth for the 250th Frontier Day celebration. The Borg then linked the Starfleet ships to an automated network and assimilated everyone under the age of 25 using the ship's transporter systems. The Borg Queen was eventually defeated and the assimilated freed, but a lot of lives were lost in the conflict. So far, this is the only Frontier Day celebration we've seen, but it's also likely the most eventful. It's worth noting that Frontier Day also directly follows the anniversary of humanity's first encounter with the Klingon Empire in Broken Bow, making it a kind of lesser-known First Contact Day. Number 8, Federation Day. Another important historical event from the 22nd century was the formation of the United Federation of Planets. The signing of the Federation Charter between the Andorian Empire, Vulcan, Andor, and United Earth directly followed a devastating war with the Romulans in the year 2161. In the Next Generation episode, The Outcast, we learned that the creation of the Federation was celebrated as a holiday on various member worlds. We don't know much about how Federation Day is celebrated, aside from a card game seen in The Outcast, a version of poker where 2s, aces, and 6s are all wild cards, a reference to the Federation's founding in 2161. There's even some disagreement about the day this holiday takes place on. Episodes like The Outcast, 0 Hour, and These Are the Voyages established that the Federation was founded in 2161, but we don't have any canon date to be more specific than that. A newspaper clipping that was made for Picard's family album in Star Trek Generations recorded the date as the 11th of October and explained the role of Picard's ancestor in the ceremony, who was named Georges E. Picard, a major general for the United Earth Space Probe Agency. However, this specific page was never seen in the final cut of the movie, so few consider it canon. April 12th has also been used in various books, and June 30th appears as the date on a plaque at Starfleet Academy in the game Star Trek Online. Number 7. Rumari. As Voyager's morale officer, Neelix was always looking for ways to cheer up the crew. In the episode Meld, he did research on Vulcan holidays as part of his ongoing mission to make Tuvok smile. Neelix found that basically all Vulcan holidays, such as Cal Rec, revolve around these same themes of atonement, solitude, and silence. One holiday in particular stood out to Neelix during his research, an ancient pagan festival called Rumari that hadn't been observed since the 14th century. We don't know what day the festival took place on, but according to Neelix, Rumari involved groups of barely clothed Vulcan men and women chasing each other around, covered in Rillan grease. Neelix suggested it was time to bring the festival back and offered to cook up several greasy foods in the mess hall for the occasion. Fortunately for Tuvok, he was called to the engineering deck before Neelix had the chance to suggest any other ideas for improving morale. Number 6. The LLunat. The LLunat, or Festival of the Moons, is a holiday from Risa. Hoshi Sato was invited to the LLunat in the Enterprise episode 2 Days and 2 Nights, but we didn't actually learn much about it in the episode. Star Trek Online expanded on the holiday greatly and turned the LLunat Festival into an annual summer event in the game where players can compete and beat challenges to earn unique items. The LLunat Festival has gone on every year since 2013 and has grown to include jetpack flying challenges, powerboard races, dance battles, and many more Risa-themed activities. Your captain can visit the resort on Risa year-round, but the challenges and their rewards are only available during the summer event, which took place from June 28th to July 28th last year. The event's a great way to celebrate the summer in Star Trek fashion, and it's just really cool that something mentioned so briefly in an episode of Enterprise has turned into such a huge event in the Trek community. Number 5. Day of Honor. For many humans, the new year is a time to reflect on the previous year. Klingons have a similar holiday called the Day of Honor. If you replace the heavy drinking with the diet of Roqueg blood pie, the heart of a sanctified Targ, and the motlak served from the Grail of Kalis. During this annual celebration, Klingons look back on their actions from the past year and determine if they have been honourable. The Day of Honor also incorporates Batleth battles and pain sticks, the same devices that were used on Worf during his second Rite of Ascension in the Icarus Factor. This holiday was actually first created for the Day of Honor novel series. John Ordover contacted Jerry Taylor while he was working as an editor on the series and convinced her to include the holiday in a storyline involving B'Elanna Torres. This idea became a Voyager episode by the same name, Day of Honor, which shows B'Elanna reluctantly engaging with this Klingon tradition on the holodeck before leaving in frustration once the pain sticks come out. We weren't given a date for this holiday in the episode, but according to Memory Beta, the novel for the episode and a DS9 comic both specify April 5th as the Day of Honor, the same day as First Contact. This doesn't really make sense, seeing as an Earth year is almost certainly a different length than a year on Kronos, but look, we'll just go with it. Number 4. Starfleet Remembrance Day. Much like Remembrance Day and Veterans Day in modern times, Starfleet also has a holiday dedicated to honouring those who lost their lives serving the organisation. The main difference was that Starfleet Remembrance Day honoured civilians, scientists and explorers who passed, as well as soldiers and veterans. On this day, it's customary for Starfleet officers to wear a pin commemorating a ship they served on that lost crew or was destroyed. When the Enterprise crew observed the holiday in 2259 in the episode Memento Mori, Captain Pike wore a pin for the USS Discovery, which was his only way to openly celebrate his friends who were sent to the future, a fact that was classified by command. We don't know for sure from the episode, but Starfleet Remembrance Day likely takes place on the same date as modern Remembrance Day and Veterans Day, that being the 11th of November in several countries. Number 3. The Gratitude Festival, and other Bajoran holidays. The Bajorans have a highly spiritual culture and celebrate many different holidays throughout the year. The most prominent holiday in DS9, and the oldest on this list, dating back as far as 17,600 BC, is the Bajoran Gratitude Festival. This celebration, also known as the Peldor Festival, was held all across Bajor and aboard the station every year, and featured various live performances and a ritual where people would write their problems on scrolls and throw them into a fire started with bataret leaves. This festival even has its own seasonal greeting, Peldor Joy. The Bajorans also have a holiday called the Time of Cleansing, where they would fast and abstain from other pleasures for a month, similar to the real-world Muslim holiday Ramadan. Hamara was another Bajoran holiday that incorporates fasting, but this holiday was meant specifically to honour the anniversary of Sisko's arrival at Bajor in the first episode of Deep Space Nine, and his role as the emissary of the Prophets. A festival of lights was also held in Bajor's capital for at least one celebration of Hamara. None of these holidays have definite dates, and much like with the Klingons and Vulcans, it's hard to know when Bajoran holidays occur without knowing the exact length of their years. Number 2. Ancestors' Eve. The Voyager episode 1159 took a break from the show's typical high-concept sci-fi shenanigans to focus on the life of one of Catherine Janeway's ancestors, Shannon O'Donnell, in the 21st century. In the episode, Catherine slowly pieced together her ancestors' history and learned that it was quite different than she thought. Shannon was a huge inspiration to Catherine. Catherine believed she was one of the first female astronauts, a participant in early missions to Mars, and a main engineer for the Millennium Gate project, a fully self-sustaining city that paved the way for future Mars colonies. The captain later learned that Shannon was actually only a low-level engineering consultant for the Millennium Gate, but was nonetheless instrumental in getting the project approved. Catherine was frustrated by learning how easy family history could be distorted, but still admired Shannon for her accomplishments and continued to view her as an inspiration. Several other crew members began recounting their family history, and Neelix took the opportunity to start Ancestors' Eve, a holiday celebrated on April 22nd in the mess hall to honour all those who came before you. It's possible that Ancestors' Eve was inspired by Prixen, a Talaxian holiday honouring family, which Neelix celebrated. We're not sure if members of the crew went on to continue the tradition of Ancestors' Eve even after Voyager returned to the Alpha Quadrant, but we'd like to think they did. Number 1. Captain Picard Day. Every year aboard the Enterprise D, the teachers would celebrate Captain Picard Day for the children on the ship. The holiday was a celebration of Picard as a role model for the kids, a position he tried to distance himself from, but was nonetheless flattered by, seeing as he kept the banner from one of the celebrations for decades in his personal vault, seen in the first episode of Star Trek Picard. On Captain Picard Day, the Enterprise's children would create art, sculptures and models in the captain's image for a contest judged personally by Jean-Luc. This holiday originated as a tradition for the Enterprise D crew, but the fact that Boimler and others knew about Captain Picard Day around a decade later implies that it may have spread and become more popular throughout Starfleet. The date of Captain Picard Day is generally accepted as the 16th of June, since this day apparently matches the stardate from the episode, stardate 47457.1. Some fans dispute this date, however, pointing out that this stardate was not said until long after the Picard Day scene, so the actual holiday may be an earlier day in June. Picard wasn't the only Enterprise captain to be honoured with their own holiday, as we learned from Boimler in Those Old Scientists, that Captain Pike's birthday was also celebrated annually due to his many great achievements.
Hi, I'm Tom Larkin. Last time I told you about my GTN blog. Don't tell Starfleet. Thanks, Squarespace.
Squarespace is the all-in-one website platform designed to help entrepreneurs stand out online.
Squarespace allows me to link my social and multimedia accounts in just a few clicks, so you can see everything that GTN has to report, including things Starfleet doesn't want you to know. Squarespace uses Daystrom-approved design intelligence AI technology. Take control and build a beautiful, personalized website catered to your needs. SEO doodads, so you show up to more civilizations more often, but beware, Section 31 is a thing. Go to squarespace.com/TrekCulture, where you will get a free trial and 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. And remember, don't tell Starfleet.
Well, that's everything for this list. We're sure there are more holidays and ways to celebrate in the Star Trek universe. If you can think of any that we might have missed here, let us know in the comments below. You're awesome and you are wonderful, and I hope that if there's any one of these that appeals to you most, you might have a wee boogie down at a shindig. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you so much to Marcia Fry, who wrote the original article upon which this is based. You can check out their article over on whatculture.com. I've been Sean Ferrick. You can find me online by typing in my name. And remember, TrekCulture, you can do the same. Please, we are so close to 300,000 subscribers. You can make that a reality by clicking subscribe on this channel and sharing it with your friends. We'd be ever so grateful, and we might even have a gratitude festival just for you.